What's going on, everybody? Welcome to AfterPrisonShow, and today I want to talk to you guys about what happens when you get arrested. Folks, if you've never had the displeasure of sitting in the back of a cop car, consider yourself lucky. There's a lot of things that happen when you get arrested. You might be curious, like, what exactly is the mind state? What happens? Where do you go from the cop car? Do you go immediately to jail? Don't pass go or collect $200. There's actually a lot of things that take place when you get arrested, and again, if you've never gone through this, consider yourself lucky. I'm about to break this thing down for you guys. We've been on this whole kick about charges and getting locked up as of late, and I think this is a really good genre for us to be exploring because I want to really be trying to open the eyes of people who have never had to go through this type of stuff, and also open the eyes of anybody who could potentially be going down a path that could lead to getting arrested. And folks, unfortunately, I consider myself an expert on this topic because there's been many a time in old Joe's life, especially when old Joe was young Joe, that I myself found myself getting arrested. So what exactly happens when you do get arrested? Well, let's start from the very beginning. If you've committed a crime or if you've done something or maybe you're innocent but you're getting arrested nonetheless, this is going to usually start with the police putting the handcuffs on you, reading you your Miranda rights. You've got the right to remain silent. Anything you say and do can be used against you in the court of law as they are stuffing you into the back seat of that cop car. You know, the back seat of cop cars also is not very comfortable at all. Usually they've got a cushion on the seat. Sometimes they don't. It could be hard plastic. There's a separation partition between you and the cops in the front seat, which is usually plexiglass. Sometimes that's got a little sliding divider window. Sometimes it's just got air holes in it. Sometimes cop cars have bars on the back window, so immediately upon getting into the back seat of a cop car, you already feel like you're in jail. Now, depending upon what took place prior to you getting arrested and being in the backseat of this cop car is going to play heavily into what happens next. Let's say you ran from the police, or you angered them, or argued with them, or tried to fight them. It's probably not going to be a very pleasant ride at all. They could be talking trash to you, talking about you're never going to go home. They're going to press charges on you. Wait until you get down to that magistrate and see all them damn green sheets you about to get, all them felonies. But on the other hand, it could be, not so bad. Maybe the cop kind of feels sorry for you. Hey, look, man, I just got to do my job. I know that girl pressing charges on you and you ain't do what she said you did. You ain't put hands on that girl, but you got to take this ride nonetheless. I remember one of the many times that I was getting arrested. I ran from the police. You would assume that they would be really pissed off at me. They were. Once they finally caught me, they damn near ran me over with the cop car. I outran them back when I was 18 years old. And these long legs was about that life. You wasn't catching me. I was gone with the wind. But you can't outrun the radio nor a car. As I would soon learn when they damn near hit me with the car, jumped out of the car, threw my hands up, and they straight suplexed me onto the ground, splitting the entire side of my face open. And I wasn't really mad about that. I kind of felt like they were justified to do that. You might think to yourself, damn, that's kind of like police brutality right there. But, if you run, there's worse things that can happen to you besides getting suplexed and getting your face busted open. They could have shot me. Thank God they did. But after that, they threw me in the back of the cop car, handcuffs on, and my face is just straight leaking. It feels like I'm sweating, I'm bleeding so much. And the cop was talking to me saying, like, hey, you shouldn't have ran. I'm really sorry I had to do that, but we had to apprehend you. And I actually accepted the apology and said, look, it is what it is. Thank you. I actually thanked the cop for everything that they did. And it's crazy, but, I had been on the run for so long at this point, probably like 3 months. It may not seem like that long, but any day that you're on the run feels like forever. You're always paranoid, always feeling like you're about to get caught, looking over your shoulder. You hear a cop siren. You're probably going to doo-doo on yourself a little bit. I mean, it's a scary situation. I thanked the cop when he arrested me because I was finally about to get this situation over. One of the many situations I would go through getting arrested. But that was just a really crazy experience that I went through. But when you're sitting in the back of that cop car, you're usually on your way to jail. And there's a number of things that are going to take place on the ride. And then there's a whole lot of things that are going to take place once you get to the jail. It's not like you just get the handcuffs thrown on, you get thrown in the back of the cop car, and then you're straight to jail. There's a lot of things that take place between point A and point B being jail. And one of the first things that's going to take place on that ride is you doing a whole lot of thinking. You're going to be riding in that cop car, looking at everything, thinking to yourself, you are about to be gone. How long are you about to be gone for? What are you going to miss out on? Damn, I'm not going to see the outside world for a while. How long they going to give me? Can I break out the back of this cop car? Will my girlfriend stay with me? Should I just go ahead and start telling it right now before we even get to the jail? A whole lot of things are going to be going through your mind when you're sitting in the back of that cop car. It's almost going to feel like your life is flashing before your eyes. And I don't mean that to sound as dramatic as it does, but it's damn sure the truth. Now, you don't necessarily have to go right to jail. Again, depending upon what you're getting locked up for, they could take you to a police station where they put you in an interrogation room and they ask you a bunch of questions. And you decide right then and there whether you're going to tell it or you're going to remain silent and just go to jail. One of the things that's going to make it hard for you to remain silent, but you know, if you're a real dude, you just got to do that, is the thought of those cops telling you, hey, look, just tell us what happened and we're going to let you go. Now, sometimes they might be lying to you about that. Actually, a lot of times they might be, but it is very enticing. It is almost a little persuasive. You mean if I tell you everything right now, I can go home? Well, shoot, where do I even begin? Let me start from the beginning in my childhood. You see, I had a very rough upbringing. If you want to go arrest my mother, y'all could do that as well. But look, you know, it started as a child, man. Childhood was rough. Childhood was rough. But then I met Bobby, and you know, Bobby had all the drugs out there. I got his number in my cell phone. Just look at my text messages. I was on my way to go meet with him right now. If you let me call him, we could sting Bobby. We could set him up right now. Going to a police station and getting interrogated is most certainly something that could happen. But from there, you know, you are going to jail. You are going to the jail building, wherever that's at. Is it a building by itself, a huge complex? Is it connected to the courthouse? Is it connected to the police station? Your ass is going to jail. And when you get to the jail, you know, sometimes they got a garage door that opens up. The car goes inside of that garage door. Maybe it's some razor wire fences that slide open. They open one, the car goes in, shut it, open the next one. You usually end up going to some sort of a sally port when you first get to the jail. And you know, there's nothing like arriving at the jail or knowing that you're getting closer to the jail because it almost feels like walking the Green Mile. It's about to take place. You are about to be locked up, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Unless you snitch or you tell, I mean, you could do that, but let's just go with the fact that we are keeping it a stack. We are keeping it G. When you get inside of that sally port that kind of looks like a garage, they're going to get you out of that cop car, and then the next thing is going to hit you, and it's usually going to be the signs, the smells. You'll see signs like no firearms past this point. Cops got to put their guns inside of lockers. And you're going to start to smell things. Smells of jail. Certain cleaning products that trustees will use to keep the jail clean. You know, jail always has a very peculiar smell, whether it's like an extraordinarily clean smell or it's a smell of straight man-funk farts and bad hygiene, maybe even vomit and dookie. You might even realize that those smells are coming from yourself. From the sally port, you're going to go through that first door that opens, whether it's a slide or a buzz door. Bing! You're going into the jail. You are going into the meat and bones, into the heart of the complex. And usually one of the first people or things that you see when you first get past that first door is the magistrate. And it's the craziest thing. I believe magistrates are judges. And what the magistrate does is you're going to be sitting right there through that plexiglass or in that little room, and you know, you're going to be separated from that judge. But the magistrate is who issues you your charges. The police are going to be standing right there telling the magistrate what you did. Here's the paperwork. We done caught Joe out there stealing catalytic converters off of golf carts. He was not doing good at all. I don't even think a golf cart has a catalytic converter unless it's a gas-powered one. And then again, I don't even know if those got them. But not only does the magistrate issue you your charges, your green sheets, your white sheets, your sheets with dots on them. If you've got federal charges, I mean, they could be different. Every state's probably going to do it different. But the magistrate is who also could potentially issue you your bond. And it's not a guarantee that you're going to get a bond immediately upon getting locked up. If you've got no criminal record and your charges are not that severe, you're probably going to be issued a bond by the magistrate, whether it's a free bond, a signature will get you out, or whether it's a paid bond. You got to pay 10% of $10,000 or $5,000 or $100,000. The magistrate has a whole hell of a lot of power. They may even try to offer you a little pep talk right there. Wow, son. You've got a number of charges right here. Stealing catalytic converters off of golf carts, though, I've never seen that charge before. Have you considered cooperating with the authorities yet? Oh, you already have? Good for you, good for you. Yeah, no bond, no bond. Here's your charges. You're going to see the magistrate first, who's going to give you your charges and potentially also issue you a bond. Now, if you don't get a bond and they say no bond, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get a bond. You're going to have to sit in jail for sure, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe a couple of weeks before whoever your lawyer is can get you a bond hearing. And it's not a guarantee that you get a bond at a bond hearing, but if you are going to get a bond and you didn't get one at the magistrate, That's going to be the only way that you get one, unless you get a cooperation bond. Those are real things, by the way. Or what they like to refer to as a working bond. But we're not talking about working at Best Buy. We're talking about working for the authorities, out there making controlled buys. No Best Buy, controlled buys. That was actually kind of catchy. From the magistrate, you're going to be then taken to booking. And boy, booking. Booking is its own little world. It's almost like Vegas, the city that never sleeps. Because while you're in booking, and it does not matter what time you go to booking, you're not going to be in there alone. There's going to be other people who have gotten locked up, maybe people who are getting prepared to get released, maybe people who are getting ready to get transferred to another city for court. Booking is always jumping. And again, the sights, the smells, the thoughts, they are going to be with you. You're going to be noticing that the floors in booking are super shiny. You ain't never seen floors so shiny in your life. Oh, wait. There goes an inmate worker buffing the floors. He probably does that 4 times a day, and he will probably tell on you. Because it takes a certain creative prisoner to be able to work down in booking or in medical. You got to be a yes-I'm-boss type of a prisoner. You got to be ready to tell something. Excuse me, officer? I was running the buffer for the 4th time today, and I couldn't help but to notice that new offender right there dropped what looked like a pistol inside of the trash can. Oh, an extra hot dog tray, I would be honored. Thank you. Booking is its own little world, like I said, and booking is exactly what the name means. This is where you're going to be getting booked into the jail, or you're going to be given the opportunity to try to make bond. Now, you don't get a whole lot of time to try to make bond. You're either going to make bond, or your ass is going to be getting booked up inside of the jail. But when you get to booking, there's usually a number of officers that are working down there, answering the phones, booking people in, getting people ready to get released, whatever they're doing down there. Now, most of the time, you're going to end up being put into a little holding cell, maybe a drunk tank, whatever. You could be in there by yourself. You could be in there with other people. Sometimes they'll have a phone inside of there so you can begin trying to get on the phone, trying to get somebody to get that bond money together to get you out. Hey, look, I don't even care. You don't get paid for another 2 weeks and your rent's late. You got to get me up out of here. Look, I know there's some catalytic converters on some golf carts. What you mean you ain't gonna go get them? You don't love me for real? You're definitely gonna spend a little bit of time down there in booking as, you know, you're either trying to figure out if you're gonna get out or as the officers are trying to get you booked up inside of the jail. Now, there's things that are gonna start happening to you while you're in booking. They're gonna get your fingerprints. They're gonna put those in the computer. They're gonna take a picture of you as well. You're gonna try your damnedest to be looking as hardcore as you possibly can because there's a good potential other prisoners could see that booking ID picture. So even though you've probably been crying since the cuffs were put on you in the back of the cop car, it's time to suck up those tears and look like a real OG. God, I can't believe it. Oh, God. Oh, my God. You know, I remember this one time when I was going into booking. I've been locked up many times prior to this, so that's the only reason this happened. But I went into booking one time. I had just gotten locked up. Can't even remember what it was I was getting locked up for. And when I walked in there, I'd been in this jail numerous times. But when I walked in there, you know you really ain't doing no good in this world when you walk up into booking and the officers stand up and like applaud you. Hey, Guerrero, what's going on? You just got out. Hey, I told you, Tony, he would be right back. That dude wasn't gonna go. You owe me $20. And there's a lot of interesting things that you'll see while in booking as well. You might see girls who are right there in the cell right across the hall from you, or maybe they've got a lobby area. And no, look, this is for real. This one jail that I went to, they got a lobby area, and it's almost like sitting in like a doctor's office or something like that. You're just sitting in there in like little chairs with other prisoners and people who are getting locked up. So you kind of get an opportunity to start talking to the chicks, maybe start trying to establish a pen pal relationship with a girl who's getting locked up just like you are. Hey, yeah, girl. Oh boy, damn, what you in here for? Oh, armed robbery. Wow. Hey, that's impressive. Oh, you telling on everybody too? Hey, we got something in common. So you probably ain't gonna be here for a while. I'm not trying to be here neither. So, you know, once you get out on your cooperation bond, hopefully I get out too. And maybe we can go to Denny's one night. And even though I'm making jokes about that situation right there, I've seen many a relationship blossom, even if it's only like a 5-minute relationship. A relationship that's probably got a life expectancy of like that of a dragonfly. I think a dragonfly only lives for 24 hours. But you might have girls who are in a cell, or maybe there's a chick who's sitting near you in that little lobby area and they're like, hey, boy, I love you, Bobby. I love you. God, Bobby, hey, I love you. Look at this. Look at this. Girl, you've got no self-respect at all. You don't even know me. My name's not even Bobby. I'm not very good at geometry, but one of those things looks misproportioned as hell. You'll see a lot of crying, especially on the telephone, and it might be you. Okay, look, there's nothing wrong with crying when you're down there and booking. If you're gonna do any crying, booking is the place to do it, especially when you're calling mommy or daddy trying to get that bond. I know it's the 5th time I've been locked up, Mom. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. You're coming to get me? Thank you. Yeah, I'll cut the grass as soon as I get home. Okay, an hour? An hour. My mom's coming to get me. You ain't got to go no further with that booking. I'm not going into jail. Other things that are going to happen when you get arrested and you're sitting in booking, still getting processed after getting arrested. You could be seen by medical and then be given a TB shot. I've had that happen before. Crazy story. And this actually happened the very first time that I got arrested. I slept in the back of the cop car on my way to jail, but once I was sitting in the jail going through all the booking stuff that we're talking about right here, they gave me the TB shot, the nurse did. She put that needle in my arm, and then the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the floor with the smelling salt underneath my nose. I blacked out. I don't like needles, and I don't much really care for jail neither, so I don't know what it was that made me pass out. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail though. Jail? No, I ain't going to jail. Jail for real though. For real though. For real. I woke up thinking it was all a dream, but it wasn't. You'll also see some kind of a psychiatrist. Maybe it's the nurse doing this, but they'll ask you a bunch of questions. Do you got any enemies? Are you scared? Do you want to do anything to yourself? You know, they got to do like a mental health evaluation. And as every one of these things is taking place, you're going to realize it is only that much more real that your ass is no longer a part of the free world. You are now no longer Joe Guerrero. You are a number in a system in a jail, potentially on your way to prison too. So let's say you're not making bond, you don't have a bond, whatever the situation is, and they are continuing to process you in. They've done everything that we've mentioned thus far. What happens next? Well, the next thing that's going to happen is eventually, and there's no guarantee when this takes place, it could be pretty quick, or it could be hours later, but eventually, you are going to get prepared to get moved into the jail. And what this is going to entail is getting strip searched. You're going to get stripped butt ball naked. They're going to make you bend over and cough, squat and cough, put your arm over your back and lift your sack. Look under your tongue, up inside of your ears, inside of your hair. And then they're going to take away all of your clothes. They're going to take that and they're going to issue you your jail attire. Whether it's a one-piece jumper, some two-piece scrubs, whatever it is, they're going to be dressing you out in that jailhouse attire. Maybe it's too small, maybe it's too big, maybe it's dirty, maybe it's dingy, maybe it smells. You better hope you got you a white pair of underwear too. Because in some places, if you don't, and they don't issue no underoos, oh, you're going to be free balling up under that parachute suit. But not only are they going to dress you out in the jail attire, they're going to give you your jail-issued belongings as well. And folks, it's not going to be much. It's not going to be much at all, and it's only going to be sinking in even more that this is real. You've been arrested, and now you're getting locked up. Mommy's not coming to pay that bail. She ain't worried about you cutting the grass. She can get the neighbor to do that. That girl's probably already long gone. As you're getting that itchy wool blanket, that nasty dingy sheet, maybe a pillow and a pillowcase if you're lucky, a jail towel that looks like it's been used as a rag for a mechanic shop, a washcloth, a bar of jail-issued soap, a jail-issued toothbrush, probably yay big, some fresh mint toothpaste, some maximum security deodorant. It's real. You've been arrested, and there ain't no turning back now. There ain't no second guessing whether or not that decision was the right one to make because you're already here. You've already gotten dressed out. Once you've been given what few jail attire items you're going to be issued, you're then going to be taken to classification or processing, whatever they call it. And this is either going to be a one-man cell, a two-man cell. You could be in a crazy cell block. You could be all the way by yourself. But this is where you're going to sit for a day or two as they classify you into the facility. And during this time that you're going to stay in here, you're going to hope that you're in there with somebody that you could talk to. Because the worst thing in the world is to go through classification completely by yourself with nothing but them thoughts of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and who can you tell on. And keep this in mind. If you feel like this is frightening and this is like a scary story, it is. But there is always an escape button, okay? There's always an escape button. And what that button is telling. All you gotta do is dial 911 from any jailhouse phone. They're gonna pick up. Hello, thank you for calling the inmate hotline bling. Who would you like to tell on? Classification is gonna be a miserable time. Don't matter if you got anybody to talk to or not. You're gonna have to start eating that jailhouse food. You're gonna see what some jailhouse food really is like. You better hope they got a hot dog tray coming through that slot window. But then again, you'll probably be too sick to eat for those first 2 days. You're gonna try to sleep as much as you possibly can. This just can't be real. This can't be life. God, why me? Well, because you committed the crime, you dumbass. While in classification, you may be forced to watch some sort of a jailhouse movie about the do's and don'ts up inside of the facility, and God forbid it's the candy bar video. Then you're really gonna be scared. You might get an hour out of your cell to take a shower or make a phone call, and that hour is gonna be the most valuable time to you in the world. You're gonna be dialing every number you possibly can. I remember the very last time that I got locked up to do the 7 years. I will never forget one of the phone calls that I made, and it was to my father. I was sitting in the jail with 8 charges, 4 felonies, 4 misdemeanors, something like that, all big boy charges. I was going to prison. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I called my father. I don't know what I was hoping, neither calling my father. Maybe I just wanted to let him know, hey, I got locked up. I know, again, it's like what? It's like about the 20th time now, ain't it? But I like to believe I was calling him because I was hoping he would be like, oh my God, Joe, I'm going to get you the best paid lawyer in the world. But that was not the case at all. I called my father, and he picked up the phone, and then that dumbass jail recording started. Hello, this is a call from, oh my God, please pick up the phone, Dad, please pick up the phone. An inmate at the Western Tidewater Regional Jail. My dad picked up the phone, and he said, what did you do this time? And that was heartbreaking, because I could hear the heartbreak in my dad's voice. I told him what I was locked up for. I said, Dad, I got locked up for a bunch of drug charges, a gun. And there wasn't any kind of like moment of silence or anything like that. My dad would just say, well, you really did it this time, didn't you? Good luck. Click. I went back to sleep. I was like Encino Man. I was going back to sleep for as long as I possibly can, hoping to wake up in the year 3030. But that wouldn't happen. Because from classification, when they finally get you classified, if you have still yet to make bond or told your way up out of this situation, from there, you're going to general population unless you check in. They may come over the intercom, they may come to your cell, knock on that cell door. Guerrero, pack your stuff. You're going to Gen Pop. And if you ain't never been locked up before and you've never been arrested, going to Gen Pop? Gen Pop, no. Gen Pop, you mean with them other prisoners, though? I've seen Beyond Scared Straight. I'm not trying to go up in there with them. You're going to Gen Pop whether you like it or not, unless you check in right then and there. So you got 2 escape buttons. Not only can you tell, you can also check in at any time. But you pack up those little jailhouse belongings that you have, your toilet paper, and then they put the handcuffs on you, open up the cell, and they begin walking you to wherever you're going to be going in that jail. And just like when you get to the facility right before going into the Sally Port, how it's like walking that Green Mile kind of, this is going to be exactly that same thing. You're going to be looking at everything. You're going to be picking up on those smells. No inmates on the other side of the line. Keep your eyes on the ground and your hands behind your back. You are being recorded. No inmates beyond this point. You'll be picking up on the signs. You'll be picking up on the smells. And then you'll be hearing the rowdiness. Fresh meat, boy! Hey, what are you in here for? Look at you! You scared, ain't you, boy? You scared! Where you going, white boy? Hey, come back here! You cute! You cute! I heard all of those things. And when you finally get to where you're going, they're gonna pop that cell door open. Maybe it's to a housing unit, maybe it's to a cell block, maybe it's to a big open dorm. But they're gonna pop that door open, and as soon as that door pops open, all eyes are gonna be on you. The new guy, fresh meat, the white boy. I mean, you might not be white, but. And you're gonna be pushed up inside of that housing unit, or you're gonna walk in there under your own free will. You might go kicking and screaming. But regardless, that's where you're going, wherever they've classified you to remain housed at for however long that you're gonna be up in there. And then, without even realizing it, You're going to be up in that housing unit, cell block, open dorm, whatever it is. And all of a sudden, you're going to hear that boom, or that bang, or that jangle, jangle, dang of that door or that cell bar sliding gate closing behind you. And at this point, you have officially entered into about as far as you can get to actually begin what happens after you get arrested. Because congratulations, now you're about to start serving some time, however much time that will end up being. Folks, I hope this video scared the life out of you. I hope it made you never want to get locked up. And I hope it was also insightful to those who never have and never will get locked up in terms of what it actually is like when you do get arrested. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment, letting me know exactly what you thought about it. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never get arrested, and never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!